Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, y'all? Hey, yeah, man. It's kind of late, early. It's early, late. It's what, two something? And they said it was supposed to start getting a wintry mix right about 12, 1 o'clock. I think I see some precipitation outside, doing a little something, something early today. Got the got the Padres straight. Went down good old Vance County. Cut up some wood. Got my Padres a nice little wood stack for the next few days. I have to get back down there. Love on my dogs. Yeah, so the racist liberal Yale study, it's all Denzel's fault. Mm-mm-mm. A lot of times I gotta apologize to Denzel for bringing him into this a little bit because a lot of times what happens is I'll think of a headline, I'll put it on there, and then I'll do some research. So it's kind of backwards. Yeah, but such is the D train's way. But an idea will get stuck in my head, and I'll have to go with it at the moment, or else I'll just sit on it, and then I won't do anything. So I just go. Sometimes you just gotta go. Just do it live. But yeah, sometimes I'll write these headlines, and then I go do some research, and then I'll find out something in the research that I do that's kind of like revealing on the results. That a lot of times what I say is, look, tell me tell me what you want to know, and I'll tell you how that you don't even need to do any researches. Just ask me, and I'll tell you where the numbers will generally fall. They can save a whole bunch of money. Just pay me the money, and I'll tell you how what do you want to know? So they wanted to know who talks down to black people or minorities, and so I originally thought, I was like, well, if I'm if I'm it's almost situational. Like if I'm talking to a like a physicist, right? Or someone who has a special knowledge in something, right? I'm gonna do like the Denzel Washington Philadelphia clip. Talk to me like I'm a 2-year old. Give me some kind of visual representation of what you're talking about, right? And I think you got a lot of people out there who do a good job, whether they're scientists or physicists or whatever, or just regular people who have a special interest in things. Um, they, th- a lot of times people know that there's a jargon that goes with that particular field, and sometimes you have to adjust the message depending on the situation. Okay. There's another element, and that would be race or ethnicity, or the phenotype, what you see, right? See, you could kind of say, I just did it right there. Am I talking down to people because I just said what you see after I said phenotype? right? Now, if I said genotype and phenotype, yeah, you could go look it up, or I could specify. Okay, so a lot of times I find what happens is we bob and weave in and out of different lexicons, and that's just in the real world situations. You know, in the real world, we tend to adjust our message. Do I speak the same way I do on YouTube as I do in person? Well, I guess it really depends on the situation. You know, I have a different way of speaking or dealing with people at an event. Matter of fact, depending on the event, I have a different way of dealing with different people at different events, right? If I'm in a grocery store, it's pretty cordial. I tend to have a lighter mood. You don't know who you're talking to or who's in the line. You just try to kind of feel the situation and find some common ground and keep it moving. You know, I get a little chatty. It's just the way it is here. So let's look at this study. Let's look at this. Well, it's not really the study. It's like it's the it's the article that was written about the study. It's kind of like what is it? Sidney H. Dupree writes in Yale Insights, Yale School of Management. I bet they're getting a lot of traffic on this. Do they have any ads on here at all? I don't see any ad. Oh, is that an ad? That's not an ad. Uh, wow, I don't see any ads. It's interesting. Getting a bunch of traffic though, I'm sure. Sorry, it's a little. It's kind of like what I'm into right now. Just looking at different websites because I'm trying to figure out what's going to work on my different projects that I'm working on. Okay, so let me get the screen share going here. We can get into the nitty gritty of this thing here. All right, press that button. Go there. Press that button, and let's do it. White liberals present themselves as less competent in interactions with African Americans. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so Sidney Dupree is an assistant professor of organizational behavior at Yale School of Management. White liberals tend to downplay their own verbal competence in exchanges with racial minorities compared to how other white Americans act in such exchanges. Other white Americans, so non liberals, I guess. The study is scheduled for publication in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. While many previous studies have examined how people who hold racial bias behave in multiracial settings, few have studied how whites who are more well intentioned interact with people of other races. There's less work that explores how well intentioned whites try to get along with racial minorities. Dupree says we wanted to know their strategies for increasing connections between members of different social groups and how effective these strategies are. Let's move down here. Warmth related to intentions towards others and competence related to the ability to carry out those intentions are two fundamental dimensions of how we see others and portray ourselves in social interactions. Stereotypical portrayals of Black Americans generally show them as being less competent than their white counterparts, but not necessarily less friendly or warm, Dupree explains. The team found that Democratic candidates, okay, so we're getting a little bit more specific on who we're talking about now. Use fewer competence related words in speeches delivered to mostly minority audiences than they did in speeches delivered to mostly white audiences. The difference wasn't statistically significant in speeches by Republican candidates, though it was harder to find speeches from Republicans delivered to minority audiences. Okay. Okay, so we're starting to see a little bit of how they designed this study. Okay. They designed, with this preliminary evidence in hand, the researchers set out to further test their ideas. They designed a series of experiments in which white participants were asked to respond to a hypothetical or presumed real interaction partner. For half of these participants, their partner was given a stereotypically white name, such as Emily. For the other half, their partner was given a stereotypically Black name, such as Lakeisha. Participants were asked to select from a list of words for an email to their partner. Huh. For some studies, this email was for a work related task. For others, this email was simply to introduce themselves. Each word had been previously scored on how warm or competent it appears. The word sad, for example, scored low for both warmth and competence. Melancholy, on the other hand, scored high for competence and low on warmth. Participant also completed a variety of measures that assessed how liberal they were. The researchers found that liberal individuals were less likely to use words that would make them appear highly competent when the person they were addressing was presumed to be Black rather than white. No significant differences were seen in the word selection of conservatives based on the presumed race of their partner. It was kind of an unpleasant surprise to see this subtle but persistent effect, Dupree said. Even if it's ultimately well intentioned, it could be seen as patronizing. Okay, so these people were put in a study where they were told to send an email or pick from a list of words that they could send in an email to Lakeisha or Emily. I wonder if they were able to ask the same person if they sent a letter to the other one, you know. But at that point, it seems like they would be on to the the hook what they're actually trying to do. So then that could actually alter behavior, you know. That's a tricky thing when you're trying to put up these studies. Now, you know, they're talking about black candidates. I don't know if that means, Democrat, liberal candidates, because you know you can you can just watch some Hillary clips, you know, when she went in front of some predominantly black audience and she started talking with some drawl that was just overdone completely. It was cringe. That's my new like millennial word is cringe. It was so cringy. My kids turned me on to that. Plus, I think maybe some Logan Paul or maybe PewDiePie. Kind of like that one time. You know what? They also do it in other instances. They're like chameleons. I'm a kind of, I'm kind of like that a little bit, but not to the extent where I am not the same person. If I'm trying to convey a point, I'm going to try to convey it to where you get my point. I typically tend to um, convey my points when I'm talking to someone in person, using my own personal experience. I think that's 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 the best way I can do it for me because it's really all I can really know. I can tell you what I've seen, but I can also tell you what I've read, what I've looked into. I'm looking into this. I can see that this study may have some. It's not really representative of the full scope, really. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I've had liberal friends who, you know, uh, they don't talk down. They don't. I mean, most of the people I know, I don't know. I think it's more of a. It's definitely situational, but I think it depends on the confidence of the person who's speaking. And I have to and I have to and I have to think and when I say that, I think of most of the liberals, which is probably a lot of the people I know. I don't know. I don't ask them what their thing is, but they don't typically talk down to me. But maybe it's because they don't see me as someone that they would have to talk down to. And again, that's another situation. They know me. Maybe if you don't know somebody, maybe you would talk down to them too. You know, I guess it also depends on what you're talking about. And I hate to use the word talk down to because those are somebody else's words, you know? It's not talk down to. It's adjusting your message. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could euphemize all damn day. We could euphemize. Bec- Isn't that it's like a saying out there, right? It's like what is it? Don't cast your pearls upon the swine. Isn't that kind of like casting your pearls? You're gonna use all these big ass freaking words on some people that's like, what the fuck you saying? And they're gonna call you. Yeah, it reminds me of that movie, uh, Idiocracy, where the guy was just talking. He's like, could you please, direct me to the, place where I can get some help. That says, oh, you fucking fag, talking all faggoty and stuff, and look, it sounds like a fag. you know, it's like, what kind of wiggle room can you get? Can you adjust your message then? Like, and it might not be authentic even then if you try. But I mean, if you can swing it, and you know how people prefer to be communicated to, that's a different thing. I tend to not really change. That's me. I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing that's me because I don't try. But sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you're around a different group. You try to be, what your version of respectful is, and you might adjust a couple behavioral attributes and behavioral responses to things. You might, you know, adjust your persona. Let's just say you might send your representative, but at the core, you know, you're still the same person. And depending on the situation, you're gonna have to deal with each situation differently. But um, it looks like they're specifically talking about politics, and kind of like if you were gonna send an email, and okay, how would you um what would you say your political affiliation is, and how was the study done? Was it done where the people were standing right there, says, all right, write an email. Are you liberal or conservative, or are you conservative or are you liberal? you know how is it how is it done? Because I've been in some of these studies. If you take well, I went to Carolina, UNC, go Chapel Hill, go Tar Heels. Even though I disagree with some of the stuff that's going on over there right now, uh, it's my alma mater. You don't have to like your family members, but you gotta love them. Um, and I love those guys over there. I bet some of the people I entertain are some of my favorite people to party with on Sunday nights, you know. But they're probably some of the same people out there chanting, get rid of Silent Sam. I feel like as long as there is partying, people can get along because politics doesn't have to be injected into it. Um, yeah, I had a lot of fun out in Chapel Hill. I just feel like a lot of the outrage that's going on over there is being sparked from outside people, and I feel like the true Tar Heels are going to have to get a hold of the situation and say, okay, look, if you don't like that we about to put Silent Sam back up, y'all gonna have to. We will happily accept your resignation or withdrawal from the school, not to be ever entertained again. If you're willing to do that, that's fine. Cool. It's a bunch of schools around here, man. Can you imagine how many schools there are, dude? You can go to any school. You don't have to go to this one. If you don't like a statue and it hurts your persona, it just, oh, my soul is hurt. You know what I mean? I remember one time, dude, I was speaking on the same topic, this racist liberal Yale study. It's all about, the politics and how people uh pander within that realm, but the world, the America, North Carolina, Chapel Hill, the Raleighs, Kittrell, oh my gosh, Durham. You can go from Chapel Hill to Durham and the whole air changes, dude. You can go, look, you can go from Durham to Vance to Oxford, Henderson, and it's just a different place. You know what I mean? You can go from Henderson to Wake Forest, uh what's up in there? Youngsville, Lewisburg. It's a different place. You can go a little bit further up US 1 and you in Raleigh. It's a different place. The air is different. The people are, I mean, I swear to you, it's just a different experience. And to manage one person, just one single person, right? Through all those different places, you're going to have to kind of, I don't know, man. You just got to do what you got to do. Look, man, I went to the football game with my roommates and suite mates and friends from college a year ago. So afterwards, we went to this bar, right? I'm just sitting up at the bar with my homeboy, right? Had me a beer. Um, he came back. I went to the bathroom, right? We sitting there talking and stuff, blah 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 blah. My friend goes and talks to somebody else, and this older dude comes up, right? He kind of looked like this professor type, or one of those, like, maybe 60 something year old, you know sweater wearing with the glasses, slightly scruffy gray hair, you know what I'm saying, that type. And he's like, I don't know what sparked this conversation, but I don't know if this would classify as I don't know if this would classify as a talking down to, or dumb down, or a lessen the competence. It was more like a mind screw type of approach coming from his part, because what he said to me, or what he was trying to convince me of, is that family doesn't really matter anymore. It's the collective. This is this dude that's talking to me, and he's like, we're like, my homeboy is like 10 feet away from me, and then there's this guy getting a beer right next to me, and he's telling me that family, it's not so much family, and family values is like what's good for the all the people, the collective. And I'm like, nah, dude, I mean, I'm talking to this dude, and I don't know. I think maybe he thought I was like some 20-year-old, 25. I guess something in there, because I could see somebody trying to approach D Train at 25 like that. I don't think I would have been all for that at that point, because of what I'm about to say right now. So I'm talking to this dude. I'm like, look, The greatest people I know of produce me. That's my mama and my daddy, my granddaddies and my grandmamas. And I even met and hung out with one of my great granddaddies. And I told him, I was like, look, dude, I come from good stock. Family, if you don't have any kind of family values and kind of some kind of grounding, dude, you don't have hardly anything. So yeah, you can go talk that to somebody else because yeah, you're not getting anywhere right here. Basically was the message. And and you have to be able to think on that level and combat that wherever it approaches you because people will tell you that family ain't nothing, but if you don't have that basis where somebody don't really have to like your ass, but they gotta love you. You know, you gotta coexist with your family. Growing up, you got to. I hear these people talk about disowning family and oh, you are disowned. You are disowned from the family will or some bullshit. I'm like, you know what? That's a benefit of not having shit. Is like, look, now you can't get rid of my ass because ain't none of us got shit. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I guess we're not friends anymore. That's fine. You ain't got shit anyway. We still going fishing tomorrow? Does this mean we not going fishing? Oh man, why you gotta be a little punk? Come on, man. What, your feelings hurt? That's what family does, man. Hey, you got to get hard. That's family. Family is what hardens you. Look, I think I've been in more wrestling matches and like little scuffles with family than I've had anywhere. It's what toughens you as a person. So I don't know how I got off on this jag, but I think it had something to do with that dude that was trying to tell me that it's about the collective and what everybody wants instead of what you know in your foundation. That dude was not talking down to me. That dude was trying to mind screw with somebody he thought was beneath him. If you want to see the real eyes of liberalism, that's what that is. That's what that was. I experienced it. It was live and in living color. And I had to get out. I had to leave. I was like, yo, man, we gotta go. It's just the air just like thickened and it was just like, oh, I didn't want to be there no more. Just didn't want to be around that type of even around that type of thought. Was it racist? Maybe what? Can I start to think about what he was thinking? You think he would thought that I didn't have a daddy? I didn't have a crew? You think he thought what do you think he thought? What do you think this man do you think that he didn't you do you think that he knew however hard or easy or whatever somebody might think it was that I did live with my mama and my daddy like throughout my damn youth? I mean, who got a perfect family? Every family goes through hardships and some go through more hardships than others. I would never try to diminish anybody else's hardships, man. That's why I try to stay out of other people's business. I mean, it's just not my spirit to just be like, oh, what's going on with so and so? When somebody start talking about so and so, man, I just try to leave the room or change the subject. I don't know. Nice shoes. Where you get them? Oh my, did you clean the carpet? This carpet looks good. Damn, that food tasted great. I just don't even like getting involved in people's conversations with other people, but man, sometimes you have to though, if you think about it. Like it's good to experience stuff like that because you can see how it works and you can warn other people. People will throw out something just to get you to agree to it or to see which side you on. I mean, I'd rather stay out of it unless I completely disagree with something, then I just have to say it or not or decide situationally. Think about it. Not going to deal with every situation the same way. So, anyway, I think I said everything I needed to say on that. Talk to me like I'm a 2-year old. Hell yeah. If you're talking about some shit I don't have any kind of clue about, if you're talking about ideas, then, hey, let's talk ideas. I don't think that's the same conversation. One's informational, one's kind of theoretical, I guess. Hypothetical. I don't know. Yeah. I have on this paper here. I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget too much. And I have wife and women's soccer. I've already talked about family. Yeah, dad didn't sugarcoat too much of anything. Still don't. Actually, he does more now. Maybe in his old age, his old ass is getting a little simmer down now. But I had my wife on here. I remember the first date me and my wife went on. We went out, blah blah blah. We talked. Dibbling and dabbling and stuff. Took her back to my place and for a hot minute after we played some pool. I thought I was gonna play some piano for her, so I started playing the piano and then I was like, wasn't wasn't great, but you can kind of understand which song I was playing. And then I asked her, "What do you think?" And she said, "I think you need to practice some more." She didn't dumb that shit down. Women's soccer. Oh my gosh, man. I don't know. I don't know who's liberal or who's not. Okay, who's conservative. But I tell you what, I think what's more the key issue is the person's confidence in themselves and who they are and how they deal with you. If they are competent and they see themselves as somewhat competent, they're not going to dumb down too much. They'll challenge you, dude. It doesn't matter what race, and there had to be some liberals in there somewhere. I mean, you at UNC, yeah. Hell, back then I was liberal. I'm sure. I'm sure I was liberal back then. UNC women's soccer. Oh man, that was a heartbreaker last game. That final game. Congratulations to Florida State, their second national title. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they saw me as somewhat competent because I was a bio major, and that just changed the conversation. But it didn't feel like that at the time. It was just like, okay, I'm running around after these balls, getting water, trying to make sure shit's straight, having, inter conversational, banter with people, just being cool. Some people you're a little bit closer with than others, just like with any team. It's like not everybody just gonna be like, okay, we have to spend equal time with everyone. Certain times when that's encouraged, like around tournament time, I guess. Trying to find a way to fight for that other person over there in the corner that you don't hardly ever, deal with, but you're on the same team. Y'all deal with each other on a limited basis, but you're not bad, nothing good, nothing great, nothing bad. You know what I mean? It's just, oh yeah. Oh, so you like Star Wars, the fuck. But I wonder, you know, because there are black players on the teams, different teams too. Like I don't know their experience now. I can kind of understand the experience of a few of the black players back in the day when I was working. Not not what they felt, but my experience during that time when they were also there, what it seemed like to me. You know what I'm saying? And I have to say, it was kind of, you know, I don't think people dumbed down or lessened a message for any of them. Matter of fact, in light of what's going on at UNC with all the academic stuff, those girls were always like in the best classes with some of the higher GPAs. Now one could say, "Oh, were they taking it easy?" No, dude. We had people that were pre-med, people that like matter of fact, we had a few people go to med school on a few different teams. It's almost beneath these people to even try to pretend that their confidence is less than it actually is because you already know. And I think it gets back to that confidence in the person who is doing it. What confidence do they have that they can communicate with somebody effectively? Maybe that's it. But I do know people do change the message sometimes too. So I can't go completely all the way, but it's hard to say with a study with this kind of model, you know. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. So therefore, on the other hand, nevertheless, word, peace.